Hello, you're listening to Everyday Encouragement, Timeless Truths for Today, a weekly podcast designed to bring you snippets of encouragement to help you as you go about your day. I'm Jenny Guy, your host. We give permission to a lot of things, both tangible and intangible. In fact, we give permission so often that it can seem like we do it automatically and without thinking. But there are times when we should stop and really look at what it is that we're giving permission to. Patience is one of those intangibles that needs our consent to continue operating in our lives. Today, we're going to look at why patience needs our permission to function. Let's get started. Mother May I was a game my younger sister and I used to play with our friend who lived 2 doors down from us. The game was really simple. One of us would be designated as mother and would call out instructions like, "Take 1 step forward," or "Take 2 baby steps back," and indicate which player she was talking to. That player was supposed to ask, "Mother, may I?" before proceeding, and Mother would answer, "Yes, you may." Occasionally, just to mess with us, Mother would say, "No, you may not," even though she had given the instruction. If the player started to act without first asking permission, then she would be penalized by Mother. For example, Mother might tell the offender to take 2 giant steps backwards or hop sideways 6 times on 1 foot. The first player to reach Mother won the game. The winner would then become Mother for the next round. Since there were only 3 of us playing, we all had turns eventually as Mother. Looking back, I suspect we made up Mother May I. I also think the whole point of the game was to give the player who was Mother a feeling of power, specifically the power that comes from granting or denying permission. Permission is important. It's embedded in practically everything we do. For example, we give permission explicitly when we tell someone what they can do and when, where, and how they can do it. On the other hand, we give permission implicitly when we don't respond when someone starts to do or not do something, and we allow them to continue on their path. Whether you see action or inaction, know that permission is lurking somewhere in the background. Did you know that we have to grant God permission to work in our lives? He values our free will, our ability to choose, so much that He won't override it, ever. The first chapter of James in the New Testament, verses 2 through 4, presents the concept of permission and God. Here are those verses in the King James Version. "My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into divers temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing." Did you hear where the permission occurred? It was in that 3-letter word, let. And to whom or to what is permission being granted? It's patience. We're being asked to give patience, one of God's special vehicles for developing faith, permission to work in our lives. I'm keenly aware that as I write this episode, I'm writing to myself also, for I need to grant permission to patience, and I'm finding it hard to do. You see, I've been in a trying situation for several months now. In fact, it's dragged on for a couple of years, and the end isn't in sight yet. My challenging circumstance is one of the diverse temptations that James is writing about. In the New Testament's Greek, temptation in this verse also means testing. Due to the length of this situation, this test, my patience is wearing out. Yet this verse is challenging me to endure these circumstances for a little while longer, to continue giving permission to patience. My permission is needed because James is saying that God is working something out in me, and this can only happen if I continue to let patience have its way. But my impatience is growing. Considering how I'm feeling, why would I want to give patience permission? Because I see bits and pieces of the lessons that patience is trying to teach me. That's why. Because I see glimmers of the new mindset, character, and behavior that patience is trying to develop in me. That's another reason why. Sure, I can short-circuit the process patience uses by allowing my attitude to become negative and give up. Or I can try to help God out by doing things my way. Taking either of these actions means I risk not learning all that patience would have taught me had I stayed in this test. Furthermore, acting prematurely could possibly create unforeseen, negative consequences. Abraham provides a good example of creating negative consequences when we short-circuit the process of patience in our lives. He got tired of waiting on God to fulfill his promise to give him a son, and went out and got one on his own. Abraham's actions, born of impatience, eventually hurt several people and had long-lasting effects. Short-circuiting the process also means I risk not having my faith developed in the area this particular trial is targeting. For the two, faith and patience, work together. One of the ways that faith gets to show what it's made of is when time is involved. And when time steps into the picture, that's when patience is needed. This months-long trial has given patience time to peel back layers, revealing traits and beliefs I hadn't known I possessed. Peeling back a person's mental, emotional, and behavioral layers is like peeling an onion. As one layer is removed, another is exposed. The difference is that an onion's peeling usually occurs very quickly. To peel a human with that same speed would probably result in damage of some kind. So, patience is needed to accomplish the work of making us perfect and entire, wanting nothing. The perfect that James is speaking of here doesn't mean without blemish or flaw. Turning to the New Testament Greek again for understanding, perfect in this instance means adult, full-grown, of full age. It also means goal or purpose. So the idea is that patience has the goal of making us mature, well developed in our faith and ability to trust God more, despite whatever circumstances or situations in which we may find ourselves. Faith comes from trust, and trust comes from knowing someone well. Both faith and trust require experiences, also known as tests, trials, and divers temptations, in order to grow. Faith and trust also need time in which to develop. That's where patience enters. That's when our permission is needed. Granting patience permission actually means giving God time. Time to deepen our relationship with Him. Time to share the experience of the trial. Time to build our trust and faith in Him. I admit that some days I'm very tempted to short-circuit this situation. But I'm beginning to see some of the results that patience can deliver. For example, I'm getting a better understanding of God's ways, nature, and character. This awareness is birthing a new, more mature mindset, which is leading me to make different and better choices. When I look at what patience is developing in me, then I'm encouraged to let it continue, despite how I'm feeling. I guess I just need to step up and say, Patience, I give you permission to continue doing your thing in this situation and in my life. I truly hope I'm not the only one in this boat. So I'll ask, do you too need to give patience permission? I hope you heard something today that has encouraged you and possibly given you something new to think about that will motivate or inspire you. If you would like a PDF copy of the show notes for this episode of Everyday Encouragement, Timeless Truths for Today, visit my website at jguypublisher.com. New episodes are published each week on Wednesday. I hope you'll join me for another installment of Everyday Encouragement, Timeless Truths for Today. Well, that's it for now. Until next time, be encouraged.